Angry guy here. And broken-hearted men are giving up on love, dating relationships, and becoming passport bros instead. Broken-hearted men are giving up on love, dating relationships, and becoming passport bros instead. Today we have an interesting article that I wanted to share with you guys. Let's just jump right into it. This article is so intriguing. It's titled Father Raised His Son for 22 Years, but Everything Comes Crashing Down When He Learns the Boy Isn't His Biological Offspring. And this is a tale that should serve as a warning to guys who still don't understand it's way too risky to get into a relationship in Western society. The kid's 22 years old, so that means that he was born roughly back in maybe 2001. Because and I mean, think about it. I mean, that's not that long ago. I was in 2001. I was in college. Like I was entering my freshman year in college in 2001. So it's crazy. This kid is I mean, I'm technically old enough to be this kid's father. I was in college when this kid was born. But let's continue this. So anyway, the unveiling of the truth. After raising his son Adam for 22 years, Opie finds out the shocking news from his ex-wife Tori that he is not the biological father. So the woman, she knew that the child was not his, and she allowed him to raise that child for 22 years, knowing fully well that the child wasn't his. This happens all the time. All the time. Tori had cheated on him back when they were trying for kids, resulting in Adam's birth. So back when they were trying to have kids, she decided to use that as cover to go out and hook up with Chad. A paternity test later confirms this, leading to their divorce. So they were still married. And she revealed to him that, yeah, the kid isn't yours after he was now past 21. So let's continue. Let's continue listening because it only gets worse from here. The search for origins. After discovering the truth, Adam desires to meet his biological father, despite the pain this caused to OP, and that means original poster, I believe, because I'm guessing this came from a Reddit thread. Like maybe like am I the butt? He understood that Adam was an adult capable of making his own decisions. However, he wasn't prepared for the emotional toll this would take on him. 22, you are still not you're at 22, you're still not really an adult. I mean, I would argue that you really don't enter true adulthood until you're around 30 years old if you've been working on yourself. I mean, there are real adulthood for people who've been working on themselves, I would argue starts at 30. Because even at 40, people still want, even at 40, grown men and grown women still want their mommy. They still want their mommy. They still want their daddy. It's true. So it's this notion of at 22, you're an adult. The older you get as a grown man, the older you get, the more you realize you're not an adult. There are a lot of guys at 30 and they're still not adults. All right. A lot of women at 50 and they're still not adults. All right. So yeah. So however, he wasn't prepared for the emotional toll this would take on him. All right. The new bond. Adam eventually meets his biological father, Chris. Yeah, Chris, Chad. And they start to form a strong bond. Wow, that is just terrible. This newfound relationship hurt OP deeply as he watched the son he raised grow distant. This is unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Despite numerous attempts to reconnect with Adam, the chasm only seemed to grow wider. This is just terrible. The emotional barrier. The once warm relationship OB had with Adam was replaced with cold indifference. Oh my gosh. Adam became more secretive, refusing to divulge any details about his personal life or even his switch of major in college. Opie felt like he was being shut out completely from Adam's life. Oh my gosh. The unkept promise. In an effort to mend their relationship, Opie confronts Adam about the pain his distance is causing. Adam, acknowledging his behavior, promises to change and be more open. However, despite these promises, he remains as distant as ever. The final blow. The situation reaches a breaking point when Adam announces his decision to change his last name to his biological father's, signifying his full acceptance of his biological father. Opie is devastated by his decision, viewing it as Adam's final dismissal of him as his father. He informs Adam that if he's going through with the name change, it will completely sever their relationship. Oh my gosh. The disconnect. After their heated argument, Adam hangs up the phone and ceases all contact with OP. This reinforces OP's belief that Adam no longer considers him as his father. He stands by his words and does not reach out to Adam, ending their strained relationship. This is so sad. This is so terrible. The heated argument. A few months prior to the revelation of Tori's affair, Opie and Adam had a major dispute regarding an inheritance left by Adam's grandmother. Adam infatuated with a girl he started dating at university, requested $3,000 from his inheritance to help. Oh my gosh, to help pay her tuition. OP, suspecting the girl was exploiting Adam's feelings, refused the request. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. This is why you need a father in your life. The unwanted influence. Adam was deeply in love with his girlfriend and enjoyed spending extravagantly on her. Oh my gosh. Much to OP's concern. Guys, I tell y'all, some men will never learn. Some men, and even when you have a father, it's like the influence, because you know where this influence is coming from? It's coming from his mother. It's coming from his mother, because if his father's telling him no, don't do this, and there's only one place where it would be coming from, and that's from his mother. Despite never meeting her, OP felt she was using Adam for his inheritance. His suspicions were confirmed when the relationship ended soon after he denied Adam's request. And I bet you Adam didn't learn from it. The ongoing struggle. Despite the end of Adam's relationship with the exploitative girlfriend, the tension between OP and Adam persisted. They remained distant, with Adam barely talking to OP and continuing his relationship with his biological father. The uncertainty. OP remains unsure about whether the earlier argument over the inheritance played a role in Adam's distant behavior. While the unveiling of Tori's affair and the introduction of the biological father certainly had an impact, the inheritance dispute may have amplified the resentment. The back and forth. After their breakup, Adam and his girlfriend have an on and off relationship despite her previous exploitation of him. Adam can't seem to entirely let go. Yeah, this is his mother's influence. This ongoing relationship becomes another source of tension between Adam and OP. The realization. A stark realization dawns upon OP. He is not only fighting for his relationship with Adam, but also grappling with his own emotions of betrayal and loss. The woman he loved had cheated on him, and the son he raised was drifting away. The heart's resolve. OP stands firm in his stance about Adam's decision to change his surname. To him, it signifies Adam's final disconnection from him as a father. Amid all the doubts, his heart is resolute. If Adam no longer considers him as his father, he too will cease to see Adam as his son. I cannot blame him. I get where you guys would come from and saying that no matter what, he should stick by him. But this kid has made it very clear that he doesn't want to have a relationship. He's drifted. I mean, even before all of this happened, he didn't want to listen. He wanted to do whatever he wanted to do. He wanted to pay $3,000 of some girl's tuition who then broke up with him. You know, forget. You know, it's not. I don't. This. It's just enough is enough. And I think this sounds like a Gen X guy. He should just let it. I mean, let the kid go. Was the father's behavior inappropriate? Was the father's behavior appropriate? Opie, desperate for advice, posts his story on an online community, hoping to gain some perspective on the situation. The readers of the forums had many views on the matter. Here are some of their responses. Forum responses. Forum responds. One reader said, "It's a shame that your relationship deteriorated like that, but he is an adult and he is choosing his biological father over you. I'm sure it has been really tough on you since you were the one who that raised him." Another commenter thinks, another responder wrote, Adam threw out his dad's 22 years of parenting because he found out his dad wasn't his bio dad. Twist it however you want. That's a fact. Opie tried desperately to retain a father-son relationship, but Adam decided he'd rather do that with his bio dad. Let me tell you something funny about this bio dad. He doesn't even know this guy very well. He doesn't know this guy very well. It takes time to get to know a person. I don't know if you guys remember that episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from the 90s where Will saw his father, you know, and Uncle Phil and Aunt Vivian, they were furious. They were absolutely furious that his Will's father had shown back up. And, you know, his father basically spoke a good game and said that he's going to take Will with him to come driving with him. And this guy was not reliable. And they knew, Aunt Vivian knew, Uncle Phil knew, they all knew that this guy was going to break Will's heart. And what did he do? At the end of the episode, he basically says, "Yeah, bro, I can't take you with me. I've got this big job, and you know, I have to pick up another guy along the way." And that was that. That was that. And Will, who like disrespected Uncle Phil and everything, he ended up falling into Uncle Phil's arm. And you know what's really sad about the whole story? What's really terrible is that Will Smith, his own story was very similar. His own story was very, very similar. His father was a terrible person, truly terrible person, who had, I believe, at one point abandoned him in his life, was extremely abusive. I mean, if you read Will Smith's book, like, wow. I don't know. It's just crazy. And it's like, you know, it's not about the person in many cases in life who gave birth to you, or who helped bring you into this world, or whose genes are in your, whose genes you share with them. It's about the person who raised you, and the person who nurtured you, and the person who gave their lives for you. And it's sad because this young man didn't realize that, and he's going to have a hard time in life. It's absolutely unbelievable that he would abandon the man who raised her like this. He didn't even seem to care that his mother betrayed his father and what she had done to this man. And this is, you know, clearly his father was active in his life and helping to support him financially and be there for him. And then he turns around and meets this bro, this Chad that he never knew. And now he's like, oh my, because you know what really happened? He was like, oh my gosh, Chad's so cool. This is literally what happened. He met this old bro. He met Chad, and he thought Chad was the greatest thing ever. And now he fell in love with Chad, just like his mom fell in love with Chad. Okay. But what he doesn't seem to get is that Chad is not very reliable. Okay. This is the same guy that had an affair with his mother. And did he know? Did he not know? At the end of the day, most of the time they know. They know. And I'm not going to say, well, it comes down to the genes. No, it comes down to being a crappy person. All right. It comes down to be a crappy person. And a lot of this, again, I believe this is his mother's influence. Let's continue. A third view of the story, a different person stated, Adam is 22, not 14. Sure, his brain may not be fully developed. He's not a fully developed. Your brain, is not fully developed until you are 25 years old. The human brain does not stop developing until you are 25. You are not. Let's make this very clear. You are not a fully developed adult until you are 25 years old. Your brain is still developing. In Star Trek Picard, that was like literally a big part of the plot line where the Borg were able to manipulate the brains of people under the age 25 in Starfleet because their brains were not fully developed yet. You are not a fully fledged adult, okay? Even until you turn 25, and even then, you are still changing physically. Let's continue. And to be honest, that's what we believe now. We know that the brain doesn't stop developing until 25, although it, 10, maybe 5, 10, 20, or even 100 years from now, we may even discover, I don't think it'll take that long, we may discover that the human brain is still even developing past the age of 25. Because we know this based on the technology and the observations that we've made at this point. All right? It's crazy. But in reality, it could be possible that the brain continues to develop even past that age, or maybe it's different. It's not the same for everyone. For example, people hit their growth spurt at different age. People get their, hit puberty at different ages. People get their growth spurt at different ages. People get their wisdom teeth at different ages. You don't get your wisdom teeth at the exact same age. For most people, it's like sometimes around 19. Everyone gets their wisdom teeth at different times. So to say that everyone's brain stops developing at 25, I don't even believe that, because it's not consistent. We all develop at different rates. You have people who are 18. Did you know that people are still growing? There are a lot of people, not everyone, but there are a lot of people who continue growing past the age of 18. Not everyone stops growing at 18. So it's highly possible that if we know the brain continues developing in everyone until age 25, it's likely that there are some people, their brain is still developing, maybe well until they're 30 years old or older, which is very intriguing. A final perspective on the matter. Another reader commented, maybe Adam doesn't realize exactly how this is affecting you, but I agree with you in that I'd view my child changing their name to their biological fathers as a pretty blatant, you're not my parent anymore. And I'd be pretty upset too. Yeah. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on their actions? What would you have done in the situation? This story is inspired by a Reddit thread. I mean, guys, this is the reason why brokenhearted men are giving up on dating, relationships, and becoming password bros instead. Because this is what you can expect from Western society. Western society is a failed society. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying this content, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications to never miss another video again, and like the video, because it tells YouTube you enjoy the content and you want to see more of it. But guys, brokenhearted men are giving up on love, dating, relationships, and becoming passive bros instead. And it's because of what's happening in Western society. Western society is a failed society. So I want to know your thoughts on this. Let's talk more about the stuff in the comments, guys. Hey, everyone. I appreciate your support and feedback. If you want to show your gratitude, you can use the super thanks feature to tip me any amount you like. You'll also get a special comment that I can see and reply to. Or you can become a channel member using the join button and get exclusive perks like badges, emojis, live chats, and more. Your support helps me make more videos for you. So thank you, and stay tuned for more. Guys, what do you think about this? Let's talk about it more in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA and walking away. And cheers.